Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara. You have landed on Astrocast. This is your weekly forecast for March 13th through March 19th. So this week's theme is the word intensity. And I personally have no problem with using the word intensity because I feel like when we experience intensity in our lives, it actually allows us to shift. It's almost like the universe is saying, hey, I've been kind of poking you a little bit gently, quietly. You're not really hearing me. I'm going to provide you with a little bit of intensity, so maybe you'll pay attention, right? And then from there, hopefully we take action, or we shift our perspective, or we start to align ourselves a little bit differently. I find that if there wasn't intensity, or I feel like if there wasn't intensity in the world, some kind of intensity, we would all just stay the same. And that would be kind of boring, right? So I personally love to be grounded. I love things to stay in a certain way, but I also find deep, deep value in intensity. And let me tell you why I'm choosing intensity this week. First of all, we are about a week and some odd days away from the Aries new moon, which in astrological land, it is truly the astrological new year. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So for me, that's really when the new year starts. And I know it goes against the grain, and that's okay. But if you really think about it, in the Northern Hemisphere, anyways, we've got January and February where everything is still kind of dark and quiet and germinating. And even if you pay attention to the seasons, right, we're still in winter of our life, not just outside ourselves. So now we move again into the Northern Hemisphere. We move toward a springtime. That's on March 20th/21st. So right around those 2 days, we've got the turn of the wheel, if you will. So, but this week, last week I was saying it's kind of, or maybe it was the week before, they're kind of all blurring together. This week isn't a very quiet week. This week is really strong energy, and it has to do with Mars and Venus. And Mars is the masculine, and Venus is the feminine. And when there's energy happening around these two planets, in my humble opinion, I like to think it's Mars and Venus trying to come into balance, or the divine feminine and the sacred masculine trying to come into balance. And we sometimes need some intensity in that, So a couple things for those of you who are looking up in the sky. Mars is going to square Neptune. When Mars squares any planet, it creates a sense of action, right? So when Mars is squaring, in fact, Mars squares 3 planets, well, 2 planets and the sun this week. So Mars is going to square the sun, Mars is going to square Mercury, and Mars is going to square Neptune. Okay, so Mars is a little angsty this week. My invitation to you is to find some patience with yourself, find some breath, exercise, get out, learn how to channel any kind of angsty energy that's coming through for you. Definitely don't ruminate on it. That's Mars square Mercury. It's like Mars square Mercury wants you to look at your day-to-day, or even ways that you communicate. And there might be a trigger there for you. I already know what mine is. And you just have to take a breath and then ask yourself, what is this intensity trying to shift in me? Right? Because anytime there's conflict or an intense situation or stress or a challenge, I even talk about this in teacher training. When you hear yourself say, well, this is really hard, right? When you say that or even feel that, it's hard because something within you is trying to find alignment. And so it's challenging. So this week may challenge you. That's all I'm going to say. Don't look for it, because if this doesn't resonate with you, just leave it alone, right? Don't go looking for a challenge or intensity, but just know that maybe someone in your circle or people outside of you might be feeling that. So maybe that means we just have to have some compassion, right? Mars square Neptune is really about focusing on your creativity, creative expression, which is always fun. And then Mars square the sun will really amplify that energy of Mars. So that's going to really kind of propel you into action. It's going to, potentially get a little aggressive. So again, be super mindful, right? If you feel yourself starting to get heated or angry about something, maybe take a breath and just ask yourself, what am I really upset about here in a moment? Or what is trying to shift within me? It's really important. Oh my gosh, I wish someone would have told this to me years ago. And then one more, Venus is going to square Pluto. So there's another square, and this is with Venus. And Venus is the planet of abundance and love and femininity and what we value, and it's going to square Pluto. So this is a focus on your most intimate relationships. Could be a focus on money, could be a focus on how you value yourself or how you value your friends or your family or just what you value. And remember, squares create this, like, it's like a 90 degrees. So it's like the planets are like doing, 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 right? They're not really doing that, but that's the energy that's happening. So again, take this week before, we just had that intense full moon. We had Jupiter and Chiron, Jupiter and Chiron and actually Venus super close to each other in the sky with that full moon. And we had Saturn switch signs. That's huge. We're still feeling that wave. And then we have this week of intensity. And then the following week, the 21st, the 20th, 21st, and 23rd is when Pluto moves signs. So out of Capricorn into Aquarius. So these next few weeks are pretty intense and pretty powerful. So stay grounded. Something might come up for you. Just speak your truth in a kind, loving way. And if you can't do that, maybe go run it off or something. And then come back to it and use that sense of compassionate speech to say how you feel. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to watch this over and over for me too. So I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. If you want to know anything more about astrology, just go to myastrocast.com, put in your email. It'll send you a bunch of videos on how to, locate your chart, what that really means, all these things that I'm talking about. It'll give you a little overview. And this month only, I'm offering 25% off of your astrology reading. So if you want an astrology reading, you want me to read your chart for you, just go ahead and sign up on my site, stayinittomorrow.com. Go to work with me, astrology reading, put in the code. I think it's March 2023. Put in that code. It'll give you a zero. No, won't give you a zeroed out and give you 25% off. That would be nice someday. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day and be kind to yourself first and then to others. Namaste.